Somebody putting her.
Should I
Are
just
you
do
putting
like
her
a few
coat
in
on?
one page?
Oh, we could do something. I was going to do her sitting and doing the book.
You're doing the book.
Do with her in the book. I'm just going to do it from the back with the book, and the book has the thing in it. It looks a bit like a pig.
Here's a campfire. Gosh, how does a tent go?
Okay, my name's Edward Taylor, and I'm one half of the Whalley Range All Stars, who are a street theatre company formed in 1982. The workshop is about drawings and stories. So what I'll do is, we've got a group of 30. I'll spend about 40 minutes trying to divide 30 up into 4, and then groups of 4 or 5 will work together. First thing they'll do is I'll give them, every member of each group, a drawing, which I've done, and I'll ask them to make a story from the 4 or 5 drawings that they've got. So they have to put them together in any order that they want, and if they can do connecting drawings between the images, which will be, I'll deal them out in an entirely random manner. If they can do connecting drawings of that, so hopefully at the end they'll have a time limit, 10-15 minutes, and then they'll present their story to everyone else. And then the next part will be that they each draw something, their own single image of a significant event or an object or something, and then they'll put it together. We'll move the groups around, and they'll put it together and make a story as well. So it's less about the ability to draw and more about making stories from disparate images, much as you would if you're a group and people have lots of different ideas. You have to find ways of putting them together.
Okay.
We do, our work is very, lots of very different things. Examples, the last 5 shows we've done. The first show is called Ye Gods, and it's a model village. We play it in the round, and we play the 3 gods who manipulate the fate of the village. The show we did before that was called Python on the Loose, and it was a mobile show with a 30-foot long python and 3 zookeepers. So basically just an excuse to disrupt the street with people trying to get this thing back to captivity. The show we did before that was an indoor tabletop object theatre show for children called Cake. The show we did before that was called Future, which was a 3-day-long installation in an empty shop where on the first floor there's a huge plant growing out the window, and in the shop windows you can see the roots that have burst through the floor, the ceiling of the ground floor, and there was a team of 5 miners who were scrabbling around in the roots to find tubers, and then in another window you could see the tubers being processed and packaged. Basically we turned it into popcorn, and then the popcorn was taken out of the shop and given to the audience who were watching. So it was a sort of idea of the future being everything's fallen to pieces and we're having to make do with what we can, with what's growing.
Mm-hmm.
And the show we did before that was called Imaginary Friends and had 10 performers who carried around 10 life-size puppets, doppelgangers. And it was a mobile show, and it was partly improvised. There were little choreographed set pieces, and there was singing as well. So we're probably, we're very varied in what we do. Um, sort of basically, every show is like a prototype. Unfortunately, it never seems to be a prototype. So, as the examples that I've given earlier, they sort of you have an idea and then you find the best way of doing it. And we're not, although we predominantly work outside. If a show is an indoor show and allows us to present it that way, we'll go with that, because it's getting the best out of the idea that's important, rather than doggedly sticking at a form.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Well, strangely enough, mentor is, we've been going for so long. We get asked to be mentors, but IOU have been a big inspiration over the years. I'm not just saying that because I'm here doing something for them, but they've always been, an example of the kind of work that we're interested in. So, and I've known them for, I shudder to think how long I've known them for, since the 70s. So, not personally, but I've seen their work, early work. So, and we also worked, before we started the Whalley Range All Stars, we worked with a company in Holland called Dogtroep, who came out of the same roots as IOU. They were, a couple of the members were welfare state people who left to form their own company. Mm-hmm. So, and one of the original members there, we haven't seen him for a long time, but he's always somebody who has a very provocative and interesting view on this kind of work. Mm-hmm. So he's a useful vitamin to talk to.
Have you got his name, or did you?
Warner Van Daly is his name. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I haven't seen him for a very, very long time. Yeah. So, but he was always very, great to talk to.
Yeah.
I do remember when I was at art college, my painting lecturer saying to me that you will never know what people think of your work. And when he said it, this was 1978 or something, you looked at him rather blankly. What on earth are you going on about? But actually, you do realise that I've no idea whether what I do is any good, but you just do it. And I think that is a very good piece of advice, I think. Yes. Well, in fact, funnily enough, I've just done another interview for an online magazine which had a similar question, but we did have an idea of doing a 4-day-long project of a traffic jam with real cars, and the cars transform overnight, so that a bread van, one of the examples, the bread van, will eventually becomes a van that's made of bread. So we were looking at those kind of ideas, or sort of images, that when the public came back the next day, maybe the cars had started to deteriorate or alter or something. But we did sort of talk to somebody about whether this was a possibility, but the costs were ridiculous. So it will remain something that I can mention when I'm asked questions like you've just asked. So, but that would be we could do a good job on it, and we actually talked to a French company as well about collaborating with them. But apart from the costs of all the vehicles and changing the vehicles all the time, and where do you store the vehicles, just how do you getting a traffic jam on the street was just too difficult, because obviously emergency access and things like that rendered it impossible. So That's what architects call it, paper architecture, don't they? Where they have projects.
Dream.
That's a paper
Yeah.
project, I think.
Great. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.